Hey guys, it's me again. This is Thea with That Sweet Tea Life. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm doing like a million of these videos, but I promised you guys I would take you along for each step, so I'm really trying to commit to doing that. So I hope I'm not bombarding you. You'll hear a fan that I have going off in the distance. I don't typically spray in here. I kind of am just so that it can be set up so that you can see everything. If you're there, like always, let me know that you're there by commenting with where you're located, where you're watching from. Okay, I think I've got it on. I'm going to be using the Home Finish Max. This is a little bit different than the sprayer I used the other day. The Super Finish Max has become my go-to for paints and such. Today I'm just using the Finish Max because I had a viewer that said, oh, how perfect would it be to just use one for clear coat and one for paint? And I said, that's an amazing idea. Hey Lisa from Texas. So if you can possibly swing it, yeah, I've decided that that's my go-to. I will keep my top coats, my clear coats. I have a lot of people from Texas, it's so funny. But I will put my clear coats in the Home Finish Max. Why? Because they are thinner and typically don't require watering down. You don't have to worry about the viscosity, which the original Home Finish Max, you have to worry about the viscosity and getting it just right. You can't have it too thick or too thin or it won't work right. But typically top coats, you don't have to worry too much about that. So it was like perfect for me to just go ahead and I put my Wise Owl Satin Varnish and my Wise Owl Matte Varnish in there because I feel like taking a satin and a matte, or at least these satins and mattes, and putting them together, it makes a varnish with like the perfect amount of sheen. So yeah, I keep that set aside just for doing. So okay, so yeah, and I don't have to worry about getting it thin or anything in the Home Finish Max. And then that lets me reserve the Super Finish Max just for paints and stuff. I don't have to worry about cross-contamination or anything. And they're both super easy to clean, so it's not a big deal, but man, if I have the versatility that I can do both in one day and not have any concerns, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So I kind of cheated. I already had this loaded with the varnish. So there's not much to see there, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you need to know. There was no watering down, so you couldn't watch that process. If you tuned in earlier for the distressing, y'all, I'm a sucker. I went back in, painted a whole lot of that back in. So you'll see a little bit of distress work at the top and around the edges. But I brought back the anchor, the Wise Owl anchor, and I decided to do a wash over just about everything with it. Because yeah, I just like the way it looked better. I don't want a whole bunch of the orange. So some of you are right. But like I said, you play with it, and if you don't like it, you paint it back in. It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and start showing you. I'm gonna turn it around. Let's see. Bear with me as I get everything set up for you. Because we're gonna get this. I'm gonna roll it over here so it's easier for me to access for you. You'll hear my fan going over here. So that I can push the air out of here. Like I said, I don't normally spray in here, but this isn't that big of a deal. Also, I have to get a new respirator. Somebody stepped on it, ran over it, I don't know, but it was broken and I need a new one. So don't fuss at me, please, since I'm not wearing one. I've got the air circulating so that hopefully it's not that big of a deal. Let me see. Hey Terry. Let's see if I can get this zoomed out a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Oh, here we go. I have the drawers and the doors pulled out just a tiny bit so that It helps because this is the varnish. This isn't the mineral paint. La, la, la. So yeah, I have to worry a little bit more about everything sticking, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so are we good? Kind of. I don't have the laptop in here, so I apologize. I can't really see anything, but really I can't have it in here with the spray going around. There is very minimal overspray with this thing. Super easy to use. I know some people have been concerned about wearing down their elbow and stuff. I would recommend you can get a strap, a belt, something, and put it right here and put it over you so that you can kind of wear it around your shoulder, and that would help take some of that stress off. Although it's really simple and easy to move around. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. Spraying is going to be less gratifying for you guys today. Can you see me? Because of the fact that it is a clear coat, you're not going to see much, especially since I've gone back and I did a wash with the anchor. Everything's nice and bright again, and there's no more of the haze from sanding. So you won't be able to see that much, but I hope you can benefit in some way from it. Something that's cool is if I pull back the trigger just a little bit, there's two parts. So I pull it back, and then that is just going to push out the air. The second give that you'll see, or that you feel, is the paint actually coming out. So I can use that part can be used to clean everything off. So if there's any kind of dust particles or anything like that, you can use that to clear it off. And then pull it back completely to let the spray go. You'll notice that the cap right here is going this way, and that means that I should also be moving that way. If I want to go in a vertical motion, I loosen this, I twist that, so it's going up and down, and then I tighten it back up. What this does is it changes the spray pattern. So right now, because it's going up and down, the spray pattern is from left to right. If I were to leave it the wrong direction, it would cause pools and pools of spray to come out instead of being a nice fine mist that I want. Because you're going right over the same spot repeatedly instead of moving on to a new area. So I want to go horizontal. So I'm going to turn it horizontal so that the spray comes out vertical. That way it's sweeping across instead of just a line going across. Now if you wanted to, you could turn it catty corner so that it's just a little bit of like an oval kind of shape, and it's really kind of universal. But yeah, I like to use it just up and down, left, right, left. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to pop on the video just so I can see if there's any questions or anything before I get started, and I think I'm going to go ahead and knock it out. No worries, Terry. She was messaging me whenever I started, so. Also, if you've been wanting to catch live videos, I know a lot of people catch them after the fact, and I'm sorry. But if you go to the settings or the little notifications up, the menu, go to the menu. At the very top where the, thank you, comments are, there should be a place where that you can turn on the notifications for live. Those of you that saw the distress earlier, what do you think about how it looks now? I scaled it back a whole lot. I've been leery, not really sure. I was trying to go all gung-ho with this distress work, and no, I don't think I want it. I don't want the distress. Okay. I think I've got you along. All right, so one thing to note whenever you are spraying is the tube that's on the inside curves. If I want to be able to tilt it this way, it needs to curve that way. So you see, it needs to curve that way. I can't see myself on the screen, so I apologize. If I want to be able to spray upward, then it needs to turn this way. So be mindful of that whenever you're putting it together. I can't do it right now. That's another thing to consider. Whenever I am spraying this guy, if I'm going from left to right, I want to be parallel. Parallel to the ground, parallel to the piece. If I spray like this, then I'm getting a whole lot of spray right here and mist right here and mist right there. That's not what you want. I want to go in one fluid motion all the way across. Of course, it doesn't have to be perfect, but keeping that in mind as you're going is going to be helpful. Same thing for going up and down. I don't want to just tilt it. I want to move the entire thing up and down. That's just going to give you a better overall look whenever it comes together. Because this has got matte in it, I've got to be a little bit more careful and make sure that I'm doing wet to wet. That means if I'm going right back over a spot, I need to bring the spray over to where it's already wet and not dried up. Because it's already blowing while the paint is going down, it's drying it at the same time. So you just have to be mindful of these things. And I'm out of breath. Is there anything else? I hope I've hit everything. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to hold this so I can make sure I didn't tie it off. Usually I tie this part right here, but I'm kind of trying to hurry for you guys. I'm actually, I want to go. I'd like to go over it, but I was rinsing that off a minute ago, and I'm scared that that water is going to drip on there. It'll kind of make me angry. So, I'm going to start from the back. Again, don't fuss at me because I don't have a respirator. I apologize. I should, especially because I'm indoors. So, pardon me. See? I saw it. It dripped. Okay. Now remember, that's the air coming out, so I'm just making sure that there's no debris left sitting on top. That water keeps wanting to run down and I want to stop it. It was a little bit streaky from right now, from where you can see, and as I continue to add coats, it's going to look less streaky. For now, I've got that base, and to be honest, I don't want to keep tempting myself, because right there is a drip spot. Then I can have it. Very carefully wipe that up and pray that I didn't just make a mistake. But I don't want it dripping on there, so I'm going to move on. screen and see what you're able to see and see what I need to clarify. Air it out just a little bit. Okay. Thank you, Anna. I've got a link in the last video too so that you can see the entire process. I've been trying to make myself actually go through the whole thing with you guys. Okay, I don't see any questions, so we're good. I'm looking at that spot right up there. See how it's dry? I must have missed that and not overlapped it enough. But we'll see whenever it actually dries completely, because it could be just a matter of that's dry, that's wet, and that's wet. So we'll see. Not this specific sprayer. I've kind of spoiled myself into, I'm sorry. Brandy is asking, do you put your paint in that sprayer too? I've spoiled myself and limited this sprayer to just my clear coat. So no, technically, could I? Yes. The paint though, I've now decided to put into my Super Finish Max because I don't have to worry about thinning it out. With this sprayer, if I put the paint in it, I do have to worry about thinning it out. Not that it's that big of a deal, it's super easy, but hey, whatever I can cut out of my to-do list is great. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and continue by spraying the front. I'm gonna have to do a nasal rinse as soon as this is over. It's bad. I should have my respirator. Oh. Down so I can reach. And while some of this is still damp, I'm going to go ahead and do another across the top. See if I can't even this out. I'm going to blow it again just to get the debris off. fresh air. Ugh. 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 Okay, so y'all can see it's getting there. Something else to think about is using the sprayer for your clear coat. If you've never used it before, this is a good way to start off. I mean, the paint you don't want to mess up, but if you're spraying a clear coat, you have to worry less about messing up, I feel like. So that might be a good way to start off as you're trying to get used to using it. But see, it's not that bad. Where you at? So, what do you think? Is it good? I'll do something right there if I can get later on. But, overall, I think it's good. Now this is just one coat. I'll be doing a couple of more coats just to make sure it's good. This is a non-yellowing top coat. This is the Wise Owl clear coat, the Varnish. Mine is a mixture of satin and matte because I just like the way putting them together. I like that sheen. This is my favorite one. Mine too, Anna. I started distressing earlier and ended up washing these colors back over it again because I just love the vibrance in these colors. They're amazing. And taking the deep turquoise and putting the anchor over it, it just gives the anchor a completely different kind of look and is so much more vibrant. So, I guess now it's time to let it dry, right? Then I'll show you later on what it looks like after I've done the last couple of coats. I'll probably go with like a 400 grit or a paper bag or something like that and just smooth it again just to make sure I'm breaking up any lumps. But yeah. What's this? Turn that fan off. That'll just mess up your sight. No, we're good. So there you have it. It's just about done, guys. I've got to add the hardware back on, which I have just cleaned up with sandpaper. I don't want to do much to them. I've still got to address the edges right here. And I'm not convinced exactly what I want to do yet. So, because I don't want to alter the way it looks from front facing. So we'll see. I've got to work on the drawers, make sure everything is not sticking and everything's gliding well. But that's it, you guys. And see, that top coat was nothing. Using the sprayer is not a big deal. It's coming together. Let me know what you think about the lack of distress work. I went through distressing everything, and like the legs are no longer hardly distressed, and I cleaned it up at the very bottom down there where it was distressed. And you can see a little bit of wood tone come through, but I didn't want very much. Thank you, Pamela. If you're curious about the sprayer, you can find it at thatsweettealife.com and just go to shop. You'll see the Amazon shop in there, and I've got everything that I use in there. Thank you, Melissa. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I can't think of anything else that I need to address with you. So I think I'm gonna let this bad boy kind of sit here and dry, and I'm gonna move on to some other things on some other projects that I really need to work on, because this one has definitely captivated my attention. So feel free to comment later on with questions. I'll try to come back to them as I can. But regardless, I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday. Talk to you later. Bye.